All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 5 of Trench Talk. And today we have on Coach CarMichael. You might have seen him on Sports Center, on my feed, on Lineman Issues feed, and that's because now he's referred to as Coach Syrup. So why don't you introduce yourself, and then we'll kind of jump into how this all started.
All right, my name is Coach CarMichael, aka Coach Syrup. I am now the offensive lineman coach and recruiting coordinator at Jonesboro High School. I originally went to high school at Morrow High School, and attended Edward Waters College.
Cool. And so when did this? So how long have you been coaching there?
At Jonesboro,
Yeah.
this will be going on my third year.
Okay. Cool. And so, can you take me through the whole giving kids syrup? Like, when did you think of it? When did it start? Like, how long have you been doing it for?
Well, as I said, I've been coaching for 5 years, and I've coached at Morrow, and after that, I coached at Miller Grove High School. At Miller Grove High School, I started carrying the syrup on my hip, and with those guys, and then when I moved to Jonesboro, I just had the bright idea after the first game. I said I want to do something different, something bigger, and I said, hey, we'll take a shot of syrup, and it went from there.
Okay. And so, what has been like the explosion? Because obviously, you've been all over the place, because of this. So, can you kind of take me through? You start doing the syrup for everyone, and then all of a sudden it gets, where was the first other page or person to post it, and then what kind of happened from there?
I remember our picture taker, Miss Tammy Hernandez. She always took pictures, and it was against Woodland, and we got our touchdown. I gave the serve shot, and I turned around. I said, man, I hope she got that picture. And turned around come Sunday, and she posted them. I got the picture. I posted it. I think Lineman Issues was the first. Lineman Issues and We Are Big Guys on Twitter was the first to post it. And I mean, man, it went from there. Phones started blowing up. I went to our next game was against Ware County, which was down the road. And I remember, I remember my phone kept going off from likes to follows to
Yeah.
retweets and everything. It was going crazy. It was like I was a mini superstar. And after that, it then showed up on ESPN. I saw my name mentioned. I saw a picture. It felt good to finally be recognized. Not only for something I've been doing, but that my guys are getting recognized also, because as an offensive lineman, we don't get much recognition.
Right. So then, let's talk about a little bit. What do they have to do to get this syrup?
Well, obviously, a pancake block, but I told my guys, with it being 5 of them, and having to sometimes as an offensive line coach, our eyes do go to the spectacular of the play, the running back or the receiver or the quarterback.
Right.
So it depends on it's a group effort, So it's when we get a touchdown, and only the linemen get it. I've had receivers ask for quarterback, kickers and everything, but it's only a lineman thing, to show them like that. Like I said, they don't get much recognition, so
Right.
this is your recognition, and for it to blow like this, it's one of my now going to be seniors. He was the one that was featured in the first picture, so it's still big for him. But this is like I said, going on the third year that it happened, and it just blew up again with Sports Center reposting it. So and it's big for him. People are mentioning him, and people at the school are saying him like, hey, that's that's you.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting how it happens that way, and quarantine might have been your best friend in that bet, where Sports Center, ESPN, Bleacher Report, House of Highlights, all these pages have just been finding the gold that they had from before, and then just reposting that kind of stuff. So there's been some interesting stuff that's kind of repopped up that people have thought about and kind of gone away. And on my end, that's where I saw this again, because I kind of remember Lineman Issues posting a long time ago. The thing though is, like, obviously with the Instagram feed, it's very it doesn't show you everything everyone posts all the time, especially if you're not active in their stuff.
Right.
So I remember seeing it, but it was like a very brief thing. And then because I follow Sports
Mm-hmm.
Center, then I saw it again, and then it got my attention. And obviously, they did the entire like 2 minute, 1 minute clip on their IGTV about it,
Right.
and then that's what kind of got me interested in the idea. We did different things. So my running back used to, after he scored a touchdown, he'd kiss every lineman on the helmet, and he'd kind of come around. He'd give one to each of us. Same thing with our quarterback if he threw a touchdown, and that was kind of our thing. After good games and stuff, our O-line coach would take us out for wings and that kind of thing as well. But yeah, you're the first person I've seen to do the actual syrup bottle, giving it on the keeping it with you at all times.
I said, yeah, it went big, and I didn't, expect it to even still be big, with like I said, the quarantine going on, because even that day, that it got posted, I mean, people mentioned me. I'm thinking something going on,
Yeah.
but like I said, it's all for alignment, man. It's not even just recognition for me. I want them to be recognized. They got to have High Five Sports to come to their game, and watch
Mhm.
them. Cause that's where that clip came from. I mean, it's videos. We did a whole video for everyone because they asked for it. I mean, it's stuff back in the archives. That can come up again.
And that's kind of the like so on my end, you can I can take a post that had a ton of success 3 years ago, 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
even a year ago, and repost it, and it'll blow up just as big, if not bigger than it did then. Right? It's something with you think about that. You think it's kind of like a one and done thing where this one did well and you kind of move on, but you can have a lot of success that way. So I'm happy to see that it re blew up for you guys, and obviously in a big way again. So that's really cool. So then how has this did this really change anything for you, your team, just kind of gaining this little bit of publicity? Like you said, were there any players that got, say, more looks at from other teams or coaches or anything like that? Has anything like really tangible come out of this besides, the publicity?
Not far as looks, but I think with our head coach, Coach Floyd, he gave me the right to be the recruiting coordinator now, and I think it was a pretty good thing with me being Coach Third, and I
Yeah.
already got I had high school coaches follow me, college coaches follow me, so using that as exposure also. I mean, it's working now. Now that I'm a household name. Like I said, I can't say that anybody got any more looks, but we got recognized.
Yeah.
If we was at the camp, oh, that's coach with the serve. That's the players that get the serve and everything, because it was a camp we went to the year before during the summer, and we were just Jonesboro High School linemen, and we went to the camp the next year after everything blew up, and I mean it was like we was paparazzi. That's like
Hmm.
I said, that's Coach Serve. That's the one with the serve, and I was just there last year.
Yeah.
My first year at Jonesboro, but they're just there last year. And out there with everyone. So it. It has days, but it's all good.
So then, yeah, the one thing that it's going to kind of suck is I don't anticipate there being high school football this year, at least where I live, just the way things are going right now. So
Mm-hmm.
I was actually kind of curious and excited to see what would happen with, like, if other coaches were going to start doing this, and just to see which the younger coaches probably that are kind of up on the times, I guess, with this kind of stuff. Like obviously you wouldn't see the older coaches like doing it, but yeah, I was really curious about that. The one thing that I go back and forth my head around a lot, just like a quick side note, is do you say syrup or syrup?
Sir.
Yeah, you say syrup. See,
Uh,
I most of the time I say syrup, but then whenever I ask for it, I don't know, I switch back and forth a lot, and then
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of just curious about that. Obviously curious about, like, if you have this new publicity and stuff, how are you using it? So the one thing I kind of wanted to ask about a bit was I saw on your page you had this thing called Put Me In Coach. Do you want to just talk a little bit about that and kind of explain what it is?
So Put Me in Coach is my mentoring organization. As being a coach, I see, and the lives that I touch, it's a thing called being more than a coach.
Gotcha.
We we're coaching them to, being young men and, gentlemen, not just X's and O's. And so,
Right.
I thought about when I was a player and how coaches did the same for me, and taught me how to be a young man. Football teaches a lot.
Hmm.
You don't realize it probably until you graduate and you get old that, these things and these morals, that you learn on the field is what, you know, you apply to life, you know.
Right.
So, like I said, Put Me in Coach is my mentor organization, hence the shirt.
Yeah.
Uh, we started July 4th, well, now going on 4 years ago. Just trying to be, mentors to young men. Like I said, hopefully, at the end of our, mentor, they can say, put me in coach, because now they're ready for life. It's kind of guys that, have fallen by the wayside and, maybe no specific, example of what they may be going through, but just needing that, mentoring from young men who have made it.
Right.
It's a family organization. It's me, my cousins, and or we're more like brothers, but me, my brothers and cousins, and and my sister. Showing that, like I said, that you can make it in life. We have me, the head coach. We got a strength coach, life coach, a spiritual coach, and everything. So it's all around, based all around like a coaching staff and a football team. And we say coaching does not stop in the sport; it continues on into life.
Right.
You know, like I said, it's big for me. And my family helps me, and behind me, it's blowing up just like Coach Server's blowing up. But
Hmm.
it's near and dear to my heart because I say it every day. Like I said, we're more than a coach. It's some coaches that take kids home, that take kids. I've seen coaches that have taken kids and into their houses and adopting them and
Hmm.
stuff like this. So it's big.
Yeah, that's really cool. So then with that, are you, because you said it started 4 years ago, is there like a time frame where you're looking for, well, specifically you're going after football kids? Are they, in your high school anywhere around the city, or kind of like what is your process, I guess, for, getting people to join this or be a part of this?
Well, it's mostly around my vision of I'm sports related and music related, so it's mostly kids that are like you said athletes or that might be music musicians and whatnot. Because I play the drums also,
Right.
so it's kind of like a testimony of me, and what I deal with like I said, sports and music. So it's mainly I can say athlete, and and also my brothers they coach on the now a 9U team, so we're all real coaches,
Right.
and but we're also coaching, like I said, more into and implementing to God's life. So it's more athletes, but I have dealt with people that weren't athletes, the people that just like what we were doing, and I went to elementary schools and delivered book bags and did everything. It's like I said, it's a good thing.
Yeah. Very cool. And so then does it have like a graduation where, you're with someone until you're hoping to be with someone until like the end of high school before, then they move on to their life? Or is it like a 3-year program, or, what's that like?
That's our plan to be with them until graduation. With quarantine and
Yeah.
COVID going on, a lot of things have been stopped. But that's our plan because at first we were dealing with kids that was in middle school, but then I said, there's some kids in elementary school, that are dealing with problems too,
Right.
and before they get to middle school, because I remember middle school was a whole different path, for me. Not that I did anything bad, but it's like a wake up call, kind of
Yeah.
like high school was, and dealing with them. I also worked in the middle school too, and seeing that you know these kids need a little mentoring,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, we plan to deal with them, up until graduation, and like I said, now they can say hey, put me in, coach. Now I'm ready for life. That's where the name came from. It took a while to get the name. You
Yeah.
know, I thought about it, prayed about it, asked my brothers about it, and everything, because we're real close, and it's also one of our other coaches. He's our scout. He passed away a few years ago. His name is Garrison Beatles. He was like Ilo the mini me, and so
Hmm.
he's a very influential part. Because I mean it's a background to the story. We like I said, we've been doing this, but just not with a title and with a name.
Right.
My brother Bernardus Favors, he really put into me and my other brother Carlton Dixon, like values and things like that. And over the summer we would be together and working out, and
Hmm.
at the same time he's pouring into us, things about life. And then once we graduated, and then here came, Garrison, we were doing the same thing for him. Now we were the coaches,
Right.
and he got to sit back and now we got to pour into him, and tell about life, what is he gonna experience coming up into high school and coming up as graduating. Even though he didn't get to cross the stage, but we I think that we played a big part into his life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. So then, with this organization, where do you see it moving in the future? Like, is this something that you see you want to be, say, a full-time gig where, you end up not coaching anymore? Or, so sorry, let me ask this first. Are you a teacher coach, or what's that situation like with your high school?
Well, I work at Columbia High School. I'm a I know you don't know. It's a school in DeKalb County. So DeKalb County is the Clayton County. So I work in DeKalb County, but I coach in Clayton County. It's kind of confusing. But
Yeah.
I'm a paraprofessional at Columbia High School for a special needs class.
Oh, wow.
And so, I'm kind of teacher, coach, but
Yeah.
I still work in the building, and even with those guys, I know those guys and talk to them all the time, and so
Yeah. Amazing. So I doubt that would be something that you'd ever want to give up then for this.
yeah, it's kind of hard. I've never been
Yeah.
asked that question. Would I stop coaching? I think I would like to do put me in coach full time, but I was still like it's just something about those Friday night lights.
Yeah.
It's different. It bring back memories. When you hear the band playing, when you see everybody in the stand cheering, and the smell of the grass, the football. I mean, it's a lot to take away. Some people don't see it and get it because they haven't played the sport, but it's a lot to take away.
Yeah. See, football can be a little different here where like we don't have bands,
Mm-hmm.
at least that play for the team. So Friday Night Lights is kind of a little bit of a different thing here. But when you have some like just I remember those moments of when you have those really big games, some rivalry games or whatever the game is where you see I only actually ever had this one time where maybe twice where I remember it was in playoffs. It was a massive game. It was super close in overtime. I think we had the ball on like the 20-yard line. And I kind of just like took a second, looked over at the crowd, and I saw like the entire bleachers full, all the fences full, all the way down and wrapped around the field. And you kind of just take a second to breathe that in because it's the only time I've ever had that feeling of like, holy shit, like it's a really cool feeling, and it's something that's really hard to way to walk
Right.
away from. So yeah, what is your favorite parts about coaching now? Like what is the one thing that you'd take away from it?
Exactly what put me in coach is, I always tell my kids, I want to teach you, about football, and at the end of the game, I want to teach you about life.
Hmm.
I got kids that, hit me up and ask me, I tell them, like I said, once they graduate, that this relationship doesn't end. They ask me about, this and that, what's going on, about their families and everything. And so, like I said, I want to teach them about, the sport, the X's and O's, but
Right.
I'm more into, implying into their life, and
Hmm.
because, like I said, that's where coaches were for me when I was in high school, and I see, like I said, now, I mean, if something can happen, 2 days ago, and I said, man, this is why I did this because I did this in football,
Right.
and it was all results back to, football.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I didn't expect. Uh, with when I started coaching, I looked at it as, like, okay, I'm doing this because the head coach asked me to come back and I'm really tight with the
Mm-hmm.
head coach and I'm doing it because I really enjoy football, right? And I enjoyed the X's and O's side of it. But with the high school I coached at, it was a special high school. So basically, it was where there was no actual classes. So how it worked is, kids would do all their own work, and it was all either online or you'd sign out of the library learning guide. So here's a chapter from Science 20 or whatever it would be, and you do it yourself. You go to the room, take the test, move on to the next, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So what that school actually gets a lot of are kids with that are on the spectrum or have been bullied a lot and are pretty quiet kids. And
Mm-hmm.
so what that football team got a lot of was some kids were ordered isn't the right word, but for lack of a better term, ordered to play football by the counselors to help introduce them back into social situations.
Right.
So my actually, coaching at that school, my favorite part was we would get some of these kids in grade 10 because we only had enough kids for one team,
Mm-hmm.
and they would basically almost not even say a word to us, right? They were just kids they didn't speak a lot. They just kept their head down because that's all they really knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you get them to slowly open up to you and open up to you. And then, I remember one kid, his name was Rainier, where his first year, he didn't say a single word. And then, but the end of the first year, he smiled at me once. That was like a big thing, right? And then his
Mm-hmm.
second year, at the end of his second year, uh, he said like almost a full sentence to me, right? And it was a really big deal because that took me 2 years to get that sentence out of him after
I
talking with
see.
him and seeing him every single day. And then so I was actually really excited for his grade 12 year for him to come back, but then he actually decided that he felt confident enough where he could go back to a normal high school.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like a bittersweet situation where yeah, I missed that I wasn't gonna get to see him make that progression, to saying having a conversation with me. But at the same time, it
Right.
was like it felt like okay, like we're the reason that he was able to go back to an actual school. So that was always the part of football that I didn't think I would actually care about with coaching. But
Mm-hmm.
just like having an impact and watching kids, develop themselves and, become younger men and not only just the get bigger, get stronger part, but just you see them mature and just grow up as people. And then seeing them move on to do
Right.
really cool things, by the time they graduate was definitely my favorite part. I don't get that at my new high school, which does
Mm-hmm.
suck a bit because now at the new one I'm at, our coaching staff is only grade 10, so we don't really get to see them through to that end of grade 12 like we did before. So I do miss that part a lot, but it's still really cool to even kids, from the end of grade 10, to the end of the season, just to see how much they actually grow up. It's really cool.
Right.
Yeah. So then, talking about, kids and moving, say, past high school, one of the things I get a lot of, which frankly, I don't think I'm qualified to answer, I'm only 23, um, would be, kids always asking me about how do I get noticed for scholarships or what are my next steps? Should I put on weight, do this, do that? What should be my off-season plan? All this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say go talk to more experienced coaches and people that are involved in it more, especially with, when kids reach out to me and ask me for my opinion on what they should do. I always say, go back to your coaches and ask the same question because
Mm-hmm.
they've known you 3 years where I just see an Instagram profile.
Right.
So then do you have any, advice for kids, maybe some key takeaways from Put Me in Coach that you think would be really helpful for, kids to hear about moving forward in life?
You're talking about like offers from colleges for
Well, even just,
scholarships.
if it was about scholarships or even just about life in general.
I use a quote. I will prepare myself for my time is coming. I learned that from a wrestling coach, Coach Meso Moon. You never know when your number or name may be called. Just like in football, you're gonna have to step up. You're gonna have ups and downs. You're gonna have good times and bad times.
Right.
You just gotta have perseverance and fight through it. And at the end of the road, God has implemented into us things also. He's not gonna put too much on us that we can bear. So he knows what we're gonna go through, what we're gonna deal with, and everything. Now, as far as scholarships, I can say hey, you got to use Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is pretty big. I didn't know we didn't have it when I was in school, but just coming back and being a coach, Twitter is. I mean, if you're not on Twitter and you're not tweeting out pictures and videos and this and that, then hey, because you got to be noticed to be recruited. And so that's
Right.
like I said, that's what helped with what we're doing now. Because this is my first year as a recruiting coordinator at Jonesboro High School. My first year as the recruiting coordinator, period. I did little things and, try to get my guys out there, and post pictures of them and, who they are and whatnot. But now I'm doing like the whole team and it's official. But, I mean, I can talk days about, like I said, the way sports has, implemented my life and, how I go about it daily. You just gotta roll with the punches, as a older person would say. You like I said, you're gonna have ups and downs. I'm only 28, but
Yeah.
I've had ups and downs, and I look at myself. I think I'm proud of myself and what's going on in my life, and and where I'm at now. And so I mean, I still got a lot to go, but it's going good for now.
Yeah. I think the one thing I at least didn't think about while I was playing was the amount that football would impact my life moving forward.
Hmm.
Um, I just think about like how different life would actually be for me if I would never a part of a football team in any way. Like I think about learning about hard work and determination and perseverance and being independent, working within a team. And one of the things that I think about a lot is that when if you look at me versus say my brother, he was more of a soccer kid, right? So then when say we're at work or whatever, if someone asks me, can you go do this, and I'm like, yeah, let's go do it, like let's get it done. It's always that kind of mentality of how can I help out, just kind of whatever they need, that's what I'm there for. Whereas his mentality has always been, that's not my job, right? And so that's one of the things I've really noticed with football is that just the amount that it has actually impacted my character. And I think I realistically like owe my life to football in every single way. Like shit, if I didn't play football, I'd probably be 300 pounds right now. Like
Yeah,
like
same
the
here.
amount I ate in junior high, if I wasn't playing football and I didn't stick with it, I don't even know.
Hmm.
No idea how different life would be without football. So
Yeah.
then with this recruiting, so are you allowed to? 'Cause again, we have obviously different rules where I live. So are
Hmm.
you allowed to recruit kids to come to your high school, or are you
I'm
talking
not.
recruiting as far as kids for getting recruited for after high school?
I'm talking about after high school. We can't recruit kids, to our high school. That's called, illegal. We
Yeah.
can't do that. No, I recruit for, recruit for kids, high school, my senior athletes, or junior athletes sometimes, even below, to get offers. So not sure, what you guys do, but they go about it as in if college coach likes a kid, they offer them or they bring them on a visit, just basically to, get them to come to their school.
Right.
And so, I deal with that. I'm the basically the middleman from the athlete to, the college coach and, getting them exposure. So that's what I'm saying with my exposure that, Coach Serb has brought, this is also helping them now, as in getting exposure. I'm talking to college coaches every day, trying to get them into school, because my whole thing is, like I said, I'm gonna get you into school somewhere,
Right.
whether it's Canada, whether it's,
Yeah.
Georgia, Florida, somewhere. I mean, and it doesn't have to be your big time schools like UGA and, University of Florida. It can be a Georgia State or, Edward Waters College. I mean, anywhere you can get a 4 year degree, is a good place to go, So yes, is creating exposure for myself, but I would be selfish to say that everything's about me, and I've never been that type of person, and
Hmm.
so I use what has been given to me to give back to others, and so
Right.
yes, the exposure is for them, and like I said, I'm constant. Well, now with with the quarantine going on, it's helped out. It really helped out a lot, because everything is now virtual, even recruiting. Like I said
Hmm.
on Twitter, I mean, I'm on Twitter, you know, all night in coaches' inboxes. Coach, check out my guy, look at my guy. You know, what you think? Such and such, and trying to get them those looks. And and because I mean, if they don't do it, then us coaches have to do it.
So then, with 'cause I already see this popping up. So you're saying if kids should be posting on Twitter, what should they be posting? Should it be short clips of just one play, going for longer clips? What should they focus on, or what should be their area that they're looking to, add a lot of content?
What I've seen coaches gravitate to is, and I learned this from one of another recruiter. Uh, uh, Coaches like size. So, something so simple as standing in the doorway and showing how tall they are, stretching their arms out and showing exactly how much they weigh, dealing with the virtual recruiting because they can't come in and see the kid and,
Right.
see how much he weigh and all that and stuff and see actually how tall he is. Because that's what some coaches say. We want to get down and see, how tall he is. And, as far as clips, we have Huddle, where they piece together, the good plays and
Hmm.
everything like that. Some kids, still, put out, like I said, short clips and everything. I mean, anything to get exposure, is good, and anything, that you're doing that is gonna, because I mean, it took for me, all it takes is a retweet, and
Right.
for them, all it takes is a retweet, because we have a thing called Recruit Georgia, and I mean, once you tag them and he retweets it, I mean, it's millions of followers on there, that
Right.
see it, and it's like, you know, I I coached at other high schools, so if a kid that I know that I was there when he was there, I give him a retweet, so it's all about how you go about it. Like I said, any exposure is good. Just showing your athletic ability. To be that, hey, coach, you should look at me because it's some schools. We're in a general population of kids in schools, but there's some schools down in the south of Georgia, that might not be getting that exposure, but they get that exposure from, like I said, being on Twitter or because coaches don't know about they can't be everywhere. So
Right.
they they gotta find somehow. But I mean, I have seen like if if you got talent, they will find
Yeah. Interesting. So then, do you see any value in posting anything besides football, like say, wrestling clips, or just like you said, just basic athleticism, and just showing the way you can move and stuff? Do you see any benefit to that?
you. As far as the students,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I know. Well, not as far as wrestling. I know, like for the offensive linemen, coaches like to see the bend of your knee. They don't want no big sloppy linemen. That can't
Right.
move because the day and age that we live in. Football is matriculating and getting bigger and bigger. Like I said, we can't have a 350-pound lineman trying to run plays up and down the field. It's not gonna happen. So
Hmm.
they want a kid that's able to move and showing the flexibility and showing what they can do. And like I said, off the ball or in between plays and stuff like that. So like I said, not so much as as wrestling, unless you're trying to get a wrestling scholarship.
Hmm.
But I mean, it's good to be a dual sport or no, a three sport player.
Yeah.
Because I did football, wrestling, and track. So it's good to show. But I mean, as far as if you're shooting for a football scholarship, then that's what you should be posting more of.
Gotcha. So that's actually a big debate down, because we don't always have football all year round, all the time at least. There's gaps. So we talk about, some coaches say that wrestling is the best thing to do in the off season if you're a lineman, other sports. Have you seen any, coaches or whatever asking about, what other sports they play, like what sports that they're leaning towards, they see a lot of value from working on in the off season?
Yes, I've seen coach ask about a guy running track. I mean, even if you just work out, it's a good thing. Because I mean, football is not year round. We play in the fall and then we take our time and we're lifting weights and stuff, but we're not working on speed and all that. So if you're
Hmm.
doing track or you're doing wrestling, then that's great. And then we turn it to spring football around March and April time and stuff. So I mean. I mean, like I said, coaches. I've been amazed, since I've been recruit coordinator. I've been asked, question I thought I wouldn't be asked, but yes, I have been asked about, does he play another sport or does he run track or, and I think, I didn't even want to do wrestling, but my coach told me, hey, you need to do wrestling, and
Yeah.
I realize it now. What it taught me going back to the football field, hey, okay, this ain't just me and him with shoulder pads on, this is I
Hmm.
can do something different, it taught me a lot.
I got a couple more for you here. Why? Because
Oh,
more
no
we
problem.
talk about this, let's. Is there anything that you've seen as far as trends? Like, is there? I've seen before about some coaches say, whenever they're asking about a player, they always ask, "Is he a good teammate?" Have you seen anything like that where there's always something that every coach asks about as far as like character goes, or them as a person?
They ask all the time about like you said, how are they as a person, how are they in the classroom, how are they, because obviously they see them on the field.
Hmm.
They want to know because at the end of the day, they're taking their chance and recruiting this guy.
Hmm.
And if he, comes to their school, they're liable for him. And they don't want to, anything on their past, of him doing something wrong. So I mean, anybody can be a great football guy when Friday Night Lights come on, but if he's let's say back at home, doing all types of crazy things, then yeah,
Right.
we don't want that guy in our program. But they like I said, they ask about you know him, as a character, his family, and everything, and how I mean how like I said, how his teammate does he show up to meetings on time. I mean it's been a lot of questions, like I said,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, with my first time doing it, I expected it, but with the virtual recruiting, it opens up a lot because now this coach has to believe your word, because he can't even see the kid.
Right.
I know they ask when they come to the school, but now he really has to believe your word because he hasn't been able to come, at least during the spring. Because I think we're gonna have football. They just opened up the Georgia High School Association just said we can go back June 8th. Uh, and so I'm not sure what our county is gonna do, but they did, but Georgia did say we can go back June 8th. And so hopefully things go from there, and colleges can start coming in and seeing the kids then,
Hmm.
and seeing what they're about because I mean, I've even seen uh kids not get recruited because of what they post on Twitter. If coaches say it all the time, if you're liking or retweeting anything, with vulgar language or that like you're retweeting a fight, you
Yeah.
know, then that's a bad look on you. You know, that tells about your character because, like I said, you have to be more than just more just the guy that catches the routes and that blocks and does this. You got to be an all around good person. I mean, because if you're not, then it's a guy down the street that is, the
Yeah.
same athlete as you, or a little better, or maybe a little worse, but he has better character than you, and that's the guy that they're going to go after.
The schools are reopening there?
Well, I don't know about the schools, but as far as like summer workouts, we can
Oh,
work
okay.
out starting June 8th. And I'm not sure about going actually like back to the building for school, but
Yeah.
we can condition and I think lift weights starting June 8th. But we can't do anything with football, but we can because
Yeah.
right now we'll be using this time anyways. Going up into because they just graduated. Yeah, just graduated supposedly yesterday. And going into like I said, June, we will be doing summer workouts and conditioning. Really, what like I said, what what they're giving us the free to do, because you and I both know if you don't if you stay away from football for a while, it'll start to show. You'll be have a recondition all over.
Yeah. The thing with with football, I think was the movement. When I had rugby for a couple months, and then I was in really good shape, and then I had to go to a spring camp, and just trying to do a normal kick step, something I was
Mm-hmm.
so used to, not doing one for 3 months, even though I was technically in the best shape of my life,
Mm-hmm.
was one of the most awkward things I've been through. And it was such a weird feeling where I wasn't like, I didn't know how to respond to it. Cause I was like, what, like, how can I not do this right now? Like, this is what I do every day. And just, yeah, again, getting away from football and doing something else for a couple months and just trying to jump back into it like nothing happened was tough. Um,
Right.
One other thing I actually want to ask about the recruiting side, just because have you heard of I think it's NCSA? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
I've heard of it. Not. I don't know much about it, but I've heard about it.
Okay. So do you see, any value in going with any of these like recruiting programs? Because again, I only know one person that used one, and that's because being from Canada, trying to get looks from the States is very challenging.
Mm-hmm.
So he used it, but
Right.
are they popular there? Do a lot of people use recruiting programs and consulting companies for that kind of stuff?
Um, None of our guys use it. I've seen guys that use it. I can't say that they're good or bad.
Hmm.
Um, I would say, as a coach, a player can look to their coach, and coaches know a lot of people. There's,
Right.
there's not a coach that doesn't know at least one, college coach. And like I said, with the advances of Twitter and everything like that, you know, I mean, if there's practically no way that you can't get your name out there. Like I said, I can't say nothing bad about them. I didn't use them, and I don't really tell our kids to use them because we like I said we're probably far more advanced than you guys, and I mean it's kids because college coaches come to the school to ask who you
Yeah.
got and good players and all that. And so it's really, or they want to keep them on the radar and stuff like that. And so, they get looks that way. Like I said, I don't want to say nothing bad about them.
Yeah.
I think that they ask a lot for a lot of money though, because
Yeah.
they're basically doing what I'm doing,
Hmm.
for free. And so not, and they may have more connects than me, So
Yeah.
like I said, I can't not what they're doing, but you know, I'm not sitting here asking for $60 or $100, just to put your kid out there. I'm doing this from the bottom of my heart. So like I said, I want to see them not only make it on the football field, but make it into life. Because I feel like I haven't done my job if they're not going to college and I mean,
Yeah.
or a 2 year school, a 4 year school. Like I said, any type of school, because there's different kids. There's different, some kids are not school kids. They might want to go to, be a barber, or they might want
Hmm.
to, I push for them to go to college, and get the experience because college was the best 4 years of my life. You know,
Hmm.
but I push, like I said, push for them to get into some schools so they can, because they've reached, you know, the at least the minimum of where they can get a high school, diploma. But once
Right.
they reach and graduate college, that they have now have a degree. It's a whole lot better and things are a whole lot easier. I mean, it's not 100% easier, but like things are a whole lot easier for them that now that
Yeah.
they have the degree. So like I said, I push for colleges, whether it's technical college or community college, 4 year college, So yes.
Mm. Yeah. The one thing I will say is that so you just said it, $60 to $100. Um, what my friend paid for it, I'm pretty sure had three zeros at the end of it. For his whatever, because he was really trying. So whatever he bought or they did, which didn't actually pan out,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure had three zeros at the end. So it's a big cost. And again, it's just I wasn't sure if it was something that a lot of Americans used or it was mostly, people from other areas trying to get looks to go to the U.S. to play or how that worked. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, honestly, you've given a lot of helpful information. So I'm going to cut this up into some clips and stuff, make it easier for people to watch and then gain a lot of really good info. Cause this is
Okay.
something I didn't, expect to come from this conversation about recruiting and stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
questions I get so often that this is super helpful.
No
So
problem.
we're pretty much out of time here. Is there anything else, you want to, give advice, ask me about anything like that really quick?
Um, how long have you been coaching?
I've been coaching since 2015.
Okay.
So I basically started the year after I graduated from high school. I started coaching right
Mm-hmm.
back then for the same team. And so I've been with the same coaching staff ever since then. But last
Mm-hmm.
year we moved high schools to a different high school. But yeah, I've coached with the same group of guys every single year since 2015.
Gotcha. And you play offensive line too, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Brief stint at D line, when I was like 7 years old, something like that. But then ever since then uh, we had my exact same O line every year since we were probably 10. Everyone played the same position and we all just moved up together and everyone just, it was awesome.
That has to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, everyone knew what they were doing. It's like we all got along, we're all good friends, stayed on the same page. It just like it was the perfect situation.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Gotcha. How long have you been, doing the your Instagram posts? Cause
Uh I
I didn't know about. I mean, I knew about lineman issues. We are big guys and everything. Then I think I said, oh, okay, it's another lineman page.
mhm. Yeah, so I started back in 2014. Um and yeah, I've kind of just been doing it. Lineman issues blew up a year ago or something, like maybe a year and a half, and that's just because the dude's funny. He just posts
Mm-hmm.
really funny stuff. So
Right.
I've been trying to do that more lately, to get a little more on his level. I always used to focus on other stuff. I didn't really see a lot of value in the really funny, like the meme related stuff. But apparently it's stuff that kids want, and I get it. So I'm trying to get on board with it now. But yeah, I've been doing lineman football since 2015. No,
Okay.
no, 2014. February 2014 is when I
Okay.
started. So great, yeah, my grade 11 year.
Gotcha.
And yeah, I literally started it because I was going into my grade 12 year and I wanted some really cool gear. So I was like, I'll just start a page. I'll get some
Mm-hmm.
companies to send it to me for free at some point. And I was like, and that's all I thought about. That's all with it. The goal was just to get free gear for my grade 12 and then whatever. And I've just been doing it ever since.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But yeah, I actually really enjoy the part of it where I still get free stuff. And like I said, the only reason I still do lineman football is because it allows me to give a lot of free gear to the kids still. So that's one thing I really enjoy being able to do is, for kids that can't afford it or don't know what to get or any of that kind of stuff. Because, you'll see kids that their first time playing football and their parents go buy them gloves, right? And then
Gotcha.
they just go to, whatever store, Dick's or Sport Check or whatever, and their parents only see receiver gloves. So they just buy them a pair of receiver gloves and call it done. And they're playing O-line. So
Right.
it's those kind of kids I like to be able to, give them some good gear and kind of show them what they should have, moving forward. So yeah, that's kind of the main reason I still do it is All right. Well, yeah. Thank you for coming on. If you ever, post anything in the future about, Coach Syrup or put me in coach, anything like that, hit me up. I'll post it right away. I have no problem doing that. So
Gotcha.
yeah,
Gotcha.
anything
And I
like
want,
that.
to everybody to, follow me at Coach CarMichael. That's CoachCarMichael. Follow, put me in coach at PutMeInCoach. So put me in coach incorporated. I've had a great time with you. Everything, like I said, for it to be now blown up again, doing podcasts again and giving back to my guys. I love doing this. Open to it anytime. Anybody asks me, I'm not going to turn down, anything because as good for me, it's good for them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And don't worry, I'll tag you and everything on Instagram and YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So it'll be really easy to find for anyone, looking to reach out to you. And they can probably Google Coach Syrup even, you'd pop up pretty quick. So I don't think people will
That's
have a
true.
problem finding you if they need to.
That's
But
true.
yeah, thanks again for coming on. Have a good day. And again, let me know if you need anything from me in the future. I'm more than happy to help out in any way I can.
Gotcha. Will there be a link for this podcast?
Yeah, yeah. So once I finish the podcast right now, I'll edit it, put it all together, upload it to YouTube in a full format today. It'll also go on to once it goes on YouTube, it'll go on to Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and then from there, throughout the course of the week, I'll post small clips of individual topics we posted about. So probably about 6 or 7 videos that come out of this. And like every day that I post something on YouTube, it gets posted to my Instagram story as well. So
Gotcha.
you'll be you'll be tagged a lot over the next couple of days. So just watch out for it.
Gotcha. That's fine with me.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, man. Have a good day.
All right. All right. You too.